my review for this week's Bleach Manga chapter 540. So let's get into this. So this week's Bleach Manga chapter, uh, it was good. Honestly, if that twist wasn't in here at the end of this chapter wouldn't have been that good at all. Like, this chapter was just it was kind of slow until the end of the chapter because it's a big twist. And it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Though, I have quite a bit of questions. And I'm wondering if this could be holes within the series itself, actually, because it's interesting. It's very interesting. But let's get into this. So really, Nimaya is just trying to fix a sword. He ends up getting his ladies and stuff like that to go and do the thing. They're all just showing what they can do, and then he ends up taking off sunglasses, putting his hair in like a ponytail thing, and he starts welding it with his hammer and stuff like that. And so he basically ends up saying that. And then this was weird that Asuchi, he's all asking me, like, didn't you notice that? Like, oh, didn't you notice it kind of looks like your hollow form a little bit? Like, you like that's what basically what it's saying. He's like, that's your hollow power actually right there. And so actually, the thing is, the person you've seen that's not actually Zangetsu either. That guy was actually a fake the whole entire time. And what's crazy about this, Zangetsu, the old man Zangetsu that we knew, that's not actually him. That's actually Joa Bach. I'm like, I like when I saw that, I was like, oh, and it's so funny. Remember when we first saw Joa Bach? We're like, man, this guy looks almost identical to Zangetsu. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what's happening? So, because he is the person. It's just like, it's crazy. And I like that twist. That was like, oh, that was Kubo. That was good. That was good. But I got a little issues with it because then you got to think about it, because here's the thing. Remember last chapter they said, Nimaya said he had to say goodbye to Zangetsu. Apparently that's not Zangetsu. His hollow form, I'm assuming his hollow powers, or that hollow form Higo or something, that maybe his name was actually Zangetsu. Because you got to think about this. Someone has to be named Zangetsu. Otherwise, how in the world is he able to even use his powers? How can he go Shikai? How can he go Bankai? His sword has to be called Tessa Zangetsu. You have to know the name in order to even activate its abilities. So, that's why I'm kind of confused on exactly. Is his hollow powers, like, was his name Zangetsu? And if you think about this, then, if basically all he did was actually just, like, get all of his hollow powers out of his body, and just is now welding it into an actual Sanpakuto, that means basically his power scheme wouldn't change at all. His Bankai practically is going to be the same, I'm assuming here then. Not to mention his name has to still probably be Tessa Zangetsu then. If that's what I'm getting at, because like some of the translation in this chapter this week was a little like off, but from what I'm getting from this, that's why I'm like, it has to be his name has to be Zangetsu. The hollow form, the hollow power his name has to be Zangetsu in order for him to even go to these forms using Getsuga Tensho and all that stuff. And it makes sense too. If you think about his Bankai, when he does Getsuga Tensho, it's black. It's kind of like almost hollow-ish. And it's kind of funny too. The thing is, Joa Bach has always been his body, and that was his Quincy powers. That was his manifestation of his Quincy powers. So if you think about it this way, when he's in Shikai mode, when he does Getsuga Tensho in Shikai mode, it's blue, and usually Quincy Reishi is like blue, the color blue. So it kind of correlates together. So I kind of like that as well. So it kind of makes sense in that part. At least that's what I'm assuming. So he's still somewhat using his Quincy powers on that format, anyways. I'm assuming anyways that that's the case, because otherwise you got to ask this question too. If Joa Bach was always inside him, Quincy power was always there, and if he was always manifesting right there and in place of his like Shingon powers, why hasn't his Quincy power activated at any moment then? Like, why is it activating now after all this time? It should have been activated then if he's been there all this time. Zangetsu was there for him for a very long time. So, or not Zangetsu, but Joa Bach, the person there. So it's just like you wondering how exactly. It's really confusing. It's really confusing, but what I'm getting at is that the Asuchi that he's creating right now is his hollow power, all of his hollow powers, everything that was manifested in basically some of his Shingai powers. Like he always has some Shingai powers in him, and he always has some hollow powers, and they just kind of fused together, which was created the power of his power scheme, basically, like that. And that's what was going on. So I mean, like I said, it's really, I don't know, it's really confusing. I hope I'm making some sense here. But basically, his hollow powers, his name has to be like Zangetsu or something like that. Because otherwise, why was he able to even use Bankai in the first place? How was he able to do anything like this? And because he had to know the names of this. And then like I said, that's why I'm like, could this be a hole here? Because he needs to kind of explain like how was this manifestation of Jual Bach able to like be a fake, a ploy to just to use his power or something like that. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's very, very odd. And I'm curious too, is Jual Bach actually connected to Ichigo's powers in? Because this Jual Bach we see in Ichigo, like the manifestation of his power, of his quincy powers, he is the Jual Bach from 1,000 years ago, which is why he looks a little different. Like he doesn't have a little beard on top, which it just is so cool though. So good. But that's all I gotta say for you guys today. Cause I'm really confused on this chapter. But Luke Crosswell, tell me what you think. I need to know. Let's bounce some ideas off of here, cause I'm not quite sure exactly what's happening here with all this. This is crazy. This is big. So I want to know your thoughts on this. Like this review. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see some more Bleach reviews from me. So you guys have been the Break Master. And until then, people, break out.